Going.
I'm good. How are you?
All right.
Do
How's
you hear
everybody doing?
do you hear echo?
Uh,
Do you hear now? You
no. Mm-mm.
I think I hear it from my end.
Let me see. I don't have. Make sure. No. I'm in. We're live.
Okay.
Okay. How's everything?
It's going now.
Oh, okay.
I
How's it going?
think I could be wrong. Busy, 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 still moving, so you might hear some noise.
Okay. I see you boxed up everything.
Yeah, that's just some of it, but I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it.
Yeah. Yeah. As long
Yeah.
as you got most of it, dude.
I just got the bottom done. Trying to get that sofa through the doorway was a humdinger, but we got it done.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Hey, Black Poindexter, Peanut.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody in the chat. Hi Gunslinger. Black Queen Texter, Ray Official,
Yeah. Let me
Hi Juice.
get everybody in here.
Mhm.
Get everything started up. Let me paste this. Be sure. We got Roger Stewart. What's been going on?
Just trying to get this move done.
I feel
So
you. I feel
I'm
you.
planning for the meetup, um, the Christmas RGG's Christmas giveaway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're busy, basically.
yeah. My son's getting married in January, so I'm dealing with that. Got a lot going on. Yep. I'll try. Gotta do what I can.
Yeah. So, what I was
Hi Billy.
had
So
set up that we would be talking about surviving with the stuff that you have,
okay.
and basically, I'm gonna bring in the one and only.
Hey
What's going on?
everybody.
All right, what's
Hey,
up, everybody?
Adrian.
Carver,
What's
make
going
sure you
on?
what's up.
How are you? How everybody?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing on today?
Good.
Oh, great.
All right,
Good, good,
fantastic,
good.
fantastic. Everybody in the chat, how you guys doing? Let me
What's up, bro?
put that up so I can see who's in here.
Okay.
My five family, they love juice. What us up? Devil Row, Roger
Yeah.
Stewart.
My fly family. What's going on?
How's everybody doing? Gunslinger Peanut in the house.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
All right, man. All right. I just went to the range today and, you know,
Yes.
got to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
training, weak hand, left hand, right hand, single handed, just getting my bearings straight.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you got to do it. Got to keep those skills because everything is perishable. No matter how much past experience we've had,
True.
if you don't keep up on it, you lose it. It's a true statement. You don't use it, you lose it. So
Yeah.
that's critical in all of our skills. So I'm trying to do some of the same things. I'm trying to go more towards that practical application. I have a lot of stuff, but I want to make sure that I can use all the stuff that I have. Just like you said, can we use the stuff we have to survive? What
Yeah.
are those key things that we have to be able to use at any point in time and be confident that they can do what they're supposed to do. We can do it with it. So it's important,
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Yeah.
I think too many times we see, we learn in a shit hits the fan situation, or when, like the guy always says, when your heart rate's 200 and your pants are full of crap, what are you gonna do? You don't want to be in that situation because you're going to be,
Yeah.
at a heightened state. So yeah, it's important.
Billy just said he just came from the range as well.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I'll be getting out there
Yeah.
tomorrow. Since we're talking about range, I don't know if anybody else is in that same boat, but I'm finding myself paring down as far as weapons and training on those specific weapons.
Hmm.
So, man, I have a lot of weapons in different categories. My list is small anyway, because when I built it, it was for specific purposes. But I
Yeah.
find myself paring down. Is anybody else kind of doing some of the same things or experiencing any of that?
Um, Trying to get more ammo for the firearms that I have now,
Yeah,
and as soon as I get out there, I'll start heading to the range as well.
cool, cool.
Yeah. And I'm working on just being proficient with the ones I have.
Yeah,
I have to, not pick and choose so much, but grab what I need at
yeah,
a time and not being like, oh man, oh crap, did I need this one? just grab anyone and feel more comfortable, and learn how to shoot uncomfortable also. That's one thing too. Put yourself in a position where you're uncomfortable, because when you're at the range, sometimes you stay stationary. I know indoors, but outdoors, just start bouncing, bobbing, weaving, just making sure that you get the movement, because in a life-threatening situation, you're on the move.
Yeah.
You're not going to be stationary like in Hollywood.
Exactly. That's one of the things I'm doing as well. I don't know if you can see behind me. I know we can't hold them, but firearm that I have on my seat there. That's
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's ready.
It has the laser right here. A lot of people say, well, why do you have the laser on there? And it's just like you said, if you're in a position where you're on your back, and you're knocked down, you can point and shoot that laser, but you have to go in, of course, make sure that you have it set up so that it's accurate with your other sights as well. And then you can basically point and shoot with that laser. So like you said, I practice that scenario in my house. I fall on the ground. I get on my knees, on my back, on my side. So I'm firing from offset positions because you never know. Somebody may come in and rush you and knock you on your butt. You may not have time to bring it up to your eyes. So plan for those different scenarios. It's, that real world situation. The more you do it, you don't run into the first time being, when it's actually having a count. So,
that's the main thing. When you're off balance, your aim is on balance.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have that laser on there, and at least that's pointed you can get from off position until you can get to a position where you can, fire basically. So those are some of the things I think and train for. I think that's real important for all of us, to make sure we maintain that and understand that. So I had a couple things. I know we were talking the other day on Wild Wild Wednesday, and we were talking about, using our equipment and talking about why we have the equipment. And I know it sounds kind of pessimistic, but it's like, I have this list of reasons why, you're going to die and shit hits the fan situation. I mean, it sounds kind of morbid, but, we can say, reasons why we will die or people will die and how to prevent it. One of the things that's important is realizing, there's this quote out there that there are only 9 meals between civilized mankind and anarchy. So that's 9 meals. If everybody stuff hits the fan and people miss 9 meals, lunch and dinner for 3 days. So that's going to be bad. People are going to start, your next door neighbor who was nice to you and, so-and-so, Mr. So-and-so is so nice.
Right.
Food in your house, and Carbon's cooking up some steaks, they're going to be coming looking for Carbon steaks. They're going to be going to
pull it a mile away.
They're going to be coming looking for whatever you got, on the stove.
That's a good thing. I would like for everybody to get out there and purchase you a big can. Go to Spencer's, get your big can of that bullshit.
Yeah.
So when she get the fan, you just spread it at the bottom of your front door. They be like, "Oh my God!"
I don't want anything in there.
That's a good idea.
You got a plan.
Nothing will come up in there, but it's a real situation. So, and that's one of the strategies too. It's like when shit hits the fan, don't be the one all rambled out looking like you know exactly what to do. If you're out and about, act like you're a little confused as you're actually making your way. But hey, what's going on? Wow, is this it? But you're slowly making your way, to your safe spot, to your car, and bug out, and wherever you need to go. Don't come out there and say, I know exactly what to do. No.
Right.
Don't be a leaker.
No,
right.
Don't be a leader.
I'm going here, I'm going there.
Yeah, no, because now some people will start looking at you. Well, okay, let me start following this guy because maybe they have some other stuff for this. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. So maybe she has some stuff that I can go. And they start getting their partners and everybody else, and they're coming following you home. So don't do that. So, but that's one of the biggest things that sticks out in my mind. Those 9 meals, and when shit hits the fan. Some of it's not preventable. It depends on your location. So if you're in an area that's prone to earthquakes, you can't, control that. If you're in an area that's prone to tornadoes, you can't control that. Really, for the most part. For hurricanes, same thing. But know that 80% of individuals are living in those suburban environments, and they're dependent on that grid. So 80% of the people are susceptible to issues. And what can you do about it? prepare for those scenarios. You can't control the weather, you can't control earthquakes, you can't control, natural disasters, but you can be prepared. Have your stuff on hand. Have those 3 days worth of food, water, shelter, and a way to protect yourself. Those are the essentials. 3 days. It's not a lot. So that's a good starting point, I think.
Yeah, definitely have a plan.
Yeah, have that plan. You have to plan for it in advance. My board, I keep it up there. The first thing is do your research and have a plan and stay calm. Those are the first 3 things. So, and then go from there. So I think we have to realize, a lot of people say, well, if you live in the city, you're dead. Well, no, not necessarily. Go ahead.
It's just a different tactic. You just got to be a little bit more alert and more ready for something that jump up at any point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
City, you have more people in the city, so there's more people to defend yourself from.
Exactly.
Try to get things before those people get it. If that's going, it's a mass exodus because people are going to try to go all over the place. So it's just more hectic if you're in the city. Yeah. So
I think also that all three of us have been noticing that we as people have been categorized as climate control now. Before it's disasters, category this, category that. Now we see the environment change, saying, okay, what's over here? What's the climate like? People like, the temperature? No, the population or the incident or the scene or the situation has now called climate control. So we have to look at the way the government is placing us into, environmental disasters now is people-related disasters.
Yeah. Look at the guy in California, it was a sheriff or a policeman who said, don't come to California. We can't protect you. We can't. It's like, literally said, it's like the Purge. You're the Popo.
Right.
And then they had this other brother who's a blood gang member. He's a high up. He's involved in that organization. He's saying, I'm leaving. I'm going to London. It's crazy out here in these streets. He's the guy. I'm like, okay, if the gangbanger and the Popo say it's bad, it's bad. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah, when you have a lot of the richer individuals looking into bunkers, they're prepping as well. I was looking at something and they said Biden is prepping, Kamala's prepping, all these people are prepping and they're running the place. That should be eye opener. You have people that are building underground condo bug out shelters, whole 75 families where they have I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but it has a beach with fresh salt water in it. They have a school. They have different floors where you can rent half a floor or a whole floor. They have their own store inside there, and they have enough. They're powered by 5 different ways to get energy, right? So with that being said, I think it starts at $1 million and goes up to 3.5, and it's only for.
Let me check my wallet real quick.
Exactly. So if they're building condominiums, I wish I would have got the link and send it to you, but I'll look.
There's one in Detroit that's like that. They have like a little island or something in Detroit, a community where they built up, and it's basically their own little conclave where you buy in and you have your security, you have your survival, so they're prepping, they're getting ready for whatever it is. So we have to do the same thing. The second thing on that list of location, you have to understand, everybody said bug out to the wilderness, this, that, and the other. But first, evaluate to see whether your current location is tenable. It may be better to bug in your home. That's the place that's the place you may have neighbors who you've grown to trust and know. So make that place as defensible and stocked as possible, because Carmen was saying, if everybody's out on the road early, you don't want to be with that golden horde out on the road, everybody trying to evacuate an area at the same time. So you may want to try to be ahead of that. And if you can't get ahead of it, wait for that throng to die down, hold up in place, make sure you have all those things in place. So get that food, water, medical, communication, and protection in your own home for those 3 days, not a lot, 3 days of supplies. What's up, man? 555? What's up? Medical treatment.
Well,
I've never had to receive it. I've rolled up on accidents where, I had to give aid to people who were in car accidents, but I've never had to receive it. So I guess that is like could be a dicey situation, especially, anytime we're walking around armed, we can be perceived as a certain level of threat depending on who rolls up on us. So, but I've
Yeah.
never been in that situation.
I had to not receive it, but I had to give it with a firearm. And yeah, that's better.
Yeah. I think at least in Texas, a lot of people are carrying, so it may not be as much of a thing as if you were in a state like California, where everybody's, it's a little bit more difficult to carry. In other states, areas, it may not be as a shocking thing, because, but here people open carry, you see it all the time, and of course,
It's the same here.
so
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So your original question was like, how do you prep with what you have, like in house,
Survive, yeah.
without ever prepping, just whatever it is that's in your house? Was that the question, or did I understand that the wrong way?
Oh, you're talking about today's topic?
Yeah.
Oh, it was surviving with what you have.
Right. So that means just whatever's in your house. Without it.
Basically whatever you have. Like saying like us three, we have bags.
Right.
We have bug in, bug out. We have every get home bags, EDC bags. It's depending on what you have, the items that you have, and how to survive with it is, instead of going out trying to get more.
Mhm.
yeah. I think we all have to have a certain level set as to where we are.
Yeah.
Hopefully, most people that are watching us today have at least some of the basics.
Yeah.
You have
Just
some food, you have some water. If you don't have water, I know, again, I think I've talked about this before. The first thing you do anytime a disaster situation or the possibility, fill your bathtub, with water, 30 gallons of water. If you have 2 bathtubs, that's 60 gallons. They have liners and containers that you have. But if you don't have that, fill that bathtub. You can fill those sinks. So at least you have that water.
That's good.
My advice would be to, if you're doing it from your house, take inventory of what you have in your house already. So, and then look at the people that's in your house. So some, depending on if it's more adults or children, look at their weakness and their strength and assign them something particular to do that they'll be good at. So if somebody is in your house that's a nurse, you might tell her, listen, gather all the medication, all the first aid stuff, take inventory of what we have. Somebody else is good at security, you tell them, make sure all that stuff is together, have it at the ready, whatever the case may be, affect the plan. And what's Wawa Wednesday, Gershon brought up something really good. He says, I'm paraphrasing, the basics was, how do you start a community? Who do you pick for your community?
And who's going to be calling the shots? Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. If you have family members that live by, maybe you guys might want to bunker down into one home and tell them to bring all their stuff. Go into your garage and see if you have any camping gear, or your basement. Pull all your camping gear out. Start taking out what you think you may need and bring it to, the top floor. Have everything there at your ready. Go into your backyard. If you have some loose bricks, bring those in, because you can make a brick stove if your gas goes out or your electric. Gather firewood from your backyard or wherever, because that's going to be a source of fuel for you. So if you're going to like the basics of what are you going to do, like you can look around your house, you'll be surprised at the stuff that you have that you will become a Guyver with, survive with. So start looking at those things. Bricks are great to keep. You can use them for a lot of different things.
Bricks and also cinder block. That's one of the things I'm filming this week. How to make a rocket stove, like with 6 cinder blocks, or I think it's 16 bricks, and you can make a very, very good stove that you can cook on and also use for heat source as well. So that's important. I think that's very important too, that you talked about, your family members. Make sure you guys are on the same page. But again, that starts with planning. Discuss it in advance. Whose house are we going to go to? Right. And then make sure you bring those supplies, those medications, because that's going to be another thing too. If you have somebody with a medical condition,
Right.
you don't want to start planning, after the fact. Make sure you bring those medications with you, and have a plan to maybe you can titrate those accordingly if you have to make them last. But of course, always talk to your physician and have that information in advance so you know what you can what they absolutely need and what can be maybe stretched out over a longer period. So it's very important. Communication and planning that's the thing that's going to save you in those situations. Like
That's
Carbon said.
Sage. That's right. You're absolutely right, Sage. Make sure you have a good tool set in your home: a hammer, a saw, plywood, in case you have to board up your windows or use it as a line of defense. There's a use for everything inside your house. You just got to rethink it and utilize it for that particular whatever it is that you're going through at that point in time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I also reiterate, make sure when you build your bag, make sure you have those emergency items that you need and you want to use and know how to use them. That's one thing that's
yeah, when you pick stuff up, try to get more than one thing because you never know when you're going to need more or if you're not going to be able to get any more. Try to stack a couple of them. One is great, but more is better.
Yeah, the saying, what is it? 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That's what I go by.
Exactly. A huge. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that spare material, the 2x4s, nails. Are like one of the biggest things. People don't think about nails. Hammer and nails that you can have multiple uses for, shore up your home, secure doors, this and that and the other. So get some 10-penny nails and just get a bucket of those and keep those. Have yourself, a good hammer, have that available. Have a saw. When the people were settling, this country, that was one of the primary things that, made the difference. That was like the ultimate survival gear was a saw. Being able to cut down things efficiently, and use them and cut them to size. So it's those little simple tools that you have, and they're not that expensive. Some are multiple items, like a machete that has a saw on the back of it, so you can do that relatively inexpensive. Fire is,
storm-proof.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the things that I picked up this week was basically another flashlight that has the flashlight with the multiple settings, the high, low, and then the strobe. Then on the other end of it, it has a plasma lighter to help start fires, and it's rechargeable. So if you have the phone or the device that recharges, you can use those type of devices. So multiple devices in one, have things that can do more than one thing, especially if you're going to be carrying them. But even in your home, have things that can serve multiple purposes is always good. And like Carbon said, innovate. You have to be adaptable. That's another big thing. If you have stuff in your home, once you do that inventory, learn how to adapt, learn how to make something work for something else, learn how to MacGyver, that like Carbon, learn how to do that stuff. And because necessity is the mother of invention. So learn how to use it. And we're good at that as a people. We've historically had to be able to do that.
Right.
You have to get the nail. That's what they had to do. You had to that's how valuable nails were.
Yeah.
You burned down the house to get those back and rebuild. You can use those for security. That's another thing too. You can make a length of garden hose and put those 10-penny nails in there, and you can make basically a trap device so people don't have shoes that aren't reinforced. They step on that and penetrate there. So you can put that on the defensive perimeter and stuff like that. But nails are cheap, so you can get those inexpensive. So go in the hardware store, go in some of these places and just walk up and down the aisles. You'll be surprised what starts popping. Hey, I can use that for this. Or I heard about that. I wonder if I can use that. I heard MHP say this. I wonder if I did it with this. So get out of the house, get up and get those steps in, which is another thing too. What do you have in your house? A lot of us have treadmills in our house. How often do we use them? MHP put up that a challenge to put on your gear and walk, get on it and walk. I've taken that to heart. I think the average number of steps that the average American takes is between 3,000 and 4,000 steps per day. That's about 1.5 miles to 2 miles. What if you say you work 20 miles from your home and shit hits the fan? Now you got to walk home 20 miles. Can you do that? Can you walk home 20 miles? Can you make that trek? In an emergency situation where you may not be able to go in a straight line, this, that, and the other. So let's start evaluating our health and our physical fitness as well, because 20 miles doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're just out walking on your own, so let's start using the things that we have in our house. We have weights. I have weights here. I have all this other stuff. Often am I using? I have a treadmill in there. How often am I using it? So let's get those steps up so that, when the stuff happens, can we get home? We have our get home bag. We have our everyday carry bag, but can we get home without, that vehicle in an emergency situation? So look at things as well. Evaluate, be honest with yourself. No, I can't walk a mile. I can't walk a half a mile. But then from there, don't be, okay, I'm not going to try. Let's get to that next step, set a goal.
Yeah, QB brought up a point about this EMP. Make sure you have Faraday bags here. Where you can put your electronics in and make sure, But when you're prepping, you prep for everything, not just EMP, everything.
Yeah. You can kind of look at your location and see if you're prone to earthquakes, if you're prone to tropical storms, whatever is going, hurricanes. If you're in an area like that, then you want to prep more towards. You should prep for everything, but you will want to gear more towards that.
The environment.
Right. But nowadays, everything is kind of like subject for any part of the world. So
True.
Prep for everything.
One of the things people talk about, how do I know, how far I walk every day? Or, we have smart watches, we have smartphones. Download a step counter app. Try to work up instead of that, 1,000 to 2,000. Try to set a goal and, get up to 10,000. That's something that we can do very easily. So, instead of sitting in front of the computer all day, just get up and, do those things, because it's going to help you long term in case the situation comes up. So, again, evaluating, what can we use what we have? Well, no, not if we're not in physical shape to carry a backpack that may only be 10, 15 pounds, or get from my work location, which is 15 miles, back to my home, which is safe and secure. And I have to walk that distance. So let's look at those things.
Make it home alone. Yeah, but what if you forget?
No, you can't forget.
You definitely can't forget. You got to know.
But then again, I have the shoes. I have my shoes in my bag and in my car that have the insole that's penetration resistant. So that's a thing. You want to make sure you have good foot gear. So if you do forget, okay, where did I set that darn thing up? Or forget that you set it in there. That's part of your setup, and as well. Make sure you have a good set of shoes. Ben Shooten always talks about that. Take care of your feet, because you may have to walk home. That's the big thing in the Army. Take care of your dogs.
Yeah. Definitely.
Speaking of dogs, your animals in your house, that's an asset. That's something that you have to prepare for as well. Make sure they have their food. Make sure they have their water. It can be your early warning system. Don't count them out. I know my dog, anytime somebody even jiggles a door, right on it. So those are things we have. If we're aware, and paying attention, it's a dog's bark and you don't even notice. That's situational awareness that we need to work on. But if your dog is barking, at least check out why they're barking, because that could be somebody trying to get in the window, this, that, and the other. So that's a natural alarm, and a lot of us have them. But we kind of sometimes push it, out of our mind because we're focused on a movie or watching or whatever else is going on. So use those things you have around you to the fullest extent, because I feel you, Siege. I did the same thing when I did that on that treadmill that first day. My feet were hurting for 2 weeks. So that let me know that, one, the shoes I had weren't good. My hips, a lot of the gear that I had on, I was finding hot spots and that's poking me here and this is poking me there. So I had to go and redo my pack, and everything else because stuff was sticking here and stuck there. And so again, just get out and then doing it. You learn a lot of information that you're not going to learn, while you're actually or having to avoid or be in that situation. So, let's take advantage of the time we have in advance of it and do some of those things.
Yeah, and make sure when you build your bags also make sure they're seasonal, because you really don't want to have something in the summertime and look in your bag and you got thermals.
Yeah.
That defeats the purpose.
Billy said get a screenshot of Google Maps of your area to see what's pools, rivers, lakes.
One of the things I know we talked about last week or so, or this was the National Geographic Topo maps. They don't actively make this anymore. You can find them on eBay for $25 or so. I like to have this hard copy because I can load this on a computer and then download those maps. So say you lose the one that I have on the one I'm going to talk about now, which is a new map application for iPhones. It's called Topo Maps. And that was just TOPO Maps. And basically what that does is that puts it on your phone, different maps that you have for your location. You can use your location. The thing I like about it, I just downloaded it earlier today. And I know for the National Geographic map, it's a little bit difficult to zone into those maps, different topological features. But this one, you can go in, this is like a map of Texas. You can basically go in there and choose the area of the map you want, download it to your phone, hard copy on your phone, and mail it to yourself, this, that, and the other. So I just started testing this. I'll use this for a week. There's a 7-day free trial for this.
Oh, wow.
So I just started playing with it. I'm going to test it through Thursday. It's $49 a year, and they update the maps constantly. They stopped upgrading the Topo maps, but like I said, hopefully the geology of your area and country aren't going to change drastically. There's something else is going on.
And make sure you get your state.
Yeah, and have your state maps as well. So I'll be doing a little bit more on that application. If it's good, I'll go ahead and get my pros and cons. But so far, everything I've found on this is really good. It has a lot of good functionality. You can change what it shows actively, topography. You can go to streams. You could do it for hiking configuration or hunting and fishing configuration. So that's one thing. And I'm going to see if they also have it for the Android devices as well. But yeah, if you don't have that, definitely go to Google Maps, download those things, get your laminated, get a copy of those. You can go to an Office Depot or something like that once you print those out and get those laminated so you can, grease pencil them up. But try to think about those things that you want to have in advance, to be able to navigate. Because say you're out and about, I know I have a lot of friends, they don't know north, south, east from west. They don't know where I-10 is. If you ask them where I-10 is, they couldn't tell you. So they may need to have a map just to get from 20 miles away and a compass and practice on that just so they can try to get home. So get those things. A lot of us have those maps. A lot of us have, again, smart devices. I have like 3 or 4 of these. That's a goofy picture from when I was. I remember that kid.
I love it. Another good thing to get or invest in is a drone.
Yes.
And you can send out, ahead of you without you leaving your safety. Scope the area out. Make sure it's not crazy, or probably find something that you need, and then you can, map your way to it. But you can invest in they run different prices. So whatever your budget is, prepare for your budget.
Yeah. And some of them also run without the Wi-Fi, just from the phone itself as the application. Just to let you know that you really don't need Wi-Fi, because actually it runs a Bluetooth.
Right.
Just to let people know.
Yeah. So, and again, that's that perimeter security, like Harbin was saying. If you're in your house and you don't know, what's in and around your area, getting that aerial view can, be a lifesaver. So that's something that you want to look at. I definitely need to invest in some of that technology, because I know what happened. I can look and I have like cameras at my door and at my window, but they're already on you at that point. So you want to extend that range
Yeah.
and kind of be ahead of the curve rather than, at the curve. So that's definitely, and like MHP said, some of those things are pretty inexpensive. The cost on some of those things aren't
Yeah.
that high at all. So
Mhm.
take advantage of that technology.
There's some that can actually whole packages and you can drop it from point A to point B.
Yeah.
This might be a beautiful thing. You can use that for all kinds of things. I'm not going to say here, but at the end of the day, investing just makes making sure you're safe.
Mhm.
You have eyes and ears all over, so that you can know how to move. Yep.
One of the things that I know a lot of us have rope or cordage in our house, but how many of us are able to tie different types of knots?
Square
So
knot, half hitch.
a lot of times you're trying to secure, say you're trying to put up a tent, you're trying to put up a shelter, you're trying to pull a vehicle or something else that's heavy. You have to be able to tie a knot that can sustain that. So our local store, has these little kits, and then we learn them in the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. But having a laminated kit that shows you how to tie a bowline, how to tie these different knots, and comes in very handy. It should be part of your kit, and you can practice this while sitting in front of the TV, doing this and that and the other. So some of them are like the 3 basic knots that you should know are all in here, and just practice that stuff. Being able to do that can be a life-saving type of thing. So we have rope, we have cordage, and be able to do that is very, very important. So get the information, get out there, and just like start practicing that stuff. Take that rope and try to tie, something on the leg of a chair and see if it'll hold while you're pulling the chair or something like that.
Don't forget communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
And one of the things with the Baofangs too is, remember, they have an FM receiver, so you can monitor FM stations with those devices as well. So it not only has the other channels that you can use, but you can also monitor radio stations and stuff like that. So you can set it to the radio channel, FM radio channel, and get that information too. So communication is key. They may be telling you, hey, the tornado, like the one that just went through Arkansas to Missouri to Tennessee to Kentucky, you can keep track of that kind of stuff on the radio. So you know how to get out of harm's way, if you're away from home. And you should have one of those with you at all times.
My fly family has a good question.
To venture out for yeah.
Yeah. You should always have something to barter with. Download the translator app on your phone in case you run into somebody who doesn't speak English, but you'll still be able to communicate with them.
Which app was that, Carmen?
Let me see.
Translator?
The translator.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a good tip.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was saying. The translator, so you can barter. Always have something to barter that you're willing to part with, like Billy just said, because you're always going to need something, and somebody's always going to need something. If you are a prepping community is so important. Not to get off topic, but it kind of ties into this.
No, go ahead.
You can being a lone wolf it's not a bad thing if that's that person's mentality. They have certain people that just work better by themselves, whatever the case may be. Even in a community, a lone wolf is great because he can be your outer perimeter, 2-3 miles ahead of before they even get to base camp. And then you have your center perimeter security team. You have your checkpoints. Everybody's going to be needed in a community. You're going to need somebody that knows how to cook, somebody that knows how to armory, fixing a tinkerer who knows how to fix everything. You're going to need a seamstress. Somebody knows how to fix shoes or make shoes. In order for a survival camp to work, you're going to need a lot of people in different areas. And then you're going to have people who are going to be like their proteges, because just God forbid something goes on, if they go out and something happens to them, you still need somebody to fill that spot. Get a community. There's a lot of communities out here that have been in effect for a long time, so they know each other. Yeah. They know each other very well. When you have a community, there's no ego. If everybody brings something to the table, nobody really is above anybody else, because without this one, You're not going to survive without that one. You're not going to survive. You kind of have to have your mentality should be survival. If everybody's on the same page as survival, there shouldn't be a problem of I'm the leader or that person's the leader. You're naturally going to have people that take charge.
Yeah.
But everything should be done for the best of the base camp, just surviving. When stuff hits the fan, you're going to have so many different people running around here. You're going to need people because you can't do 24-hour security. You're going to need shifts of that, cooking for a camp 24 hours as well. You're going to need medics. You're going to need people that are good with kids. You're going to doulas. What if somebody is pregnant whilst it's going on? There's so many things. It's a mini community. You're going to need a lot of people to survive. You might be able to survive on your own for a little while, but you're going to need a community. We really need to get on top of that. We really need to start building together, training together, working together. Again, a community, that means you have to set ground rules. What is the goal of this community? Are we willing to putting money into building our base camp up? There's so many things. There's so many things that is included in this, and if you're not serious, it's going to be a problem. Exactly. You need a plumber. You need somebody that's a blacksmith and a woodsman. Yeah. Wood means fire. Fire is going to melt that metal down. Metal means you're going to have weapons, whether it's a bow and arrow, tips, knives, spears, because eventually bullets will run out. Yeah. You're going to have to go back to basic stuff. You're going to need that to build an infrastructure. You need contractor, people that know how to build things, lay a foundation, farmers, people that work well with animals, animal husbandry. You're going to need a community of people, farmers that know how to read the moon, when to plant the seeds, if the ground is good or the soil is rich enough to plant and produce crops. The time of year to do that. If you're going to survive, you're going to need a lot of people because one person can't do all those things. Mm-hmm. And there's so many more other people that are going to be put in some place. But if you go to a camp, you need to bring something to the table. You may not have a skill, but you can protege with somebody and learn. You know what I'm saying? Work your way through it. There's a lot to prepping. There's a lot to a prepping community. There's so many people out here that are already 10 years into it. Faithfully, this is what they do. They add to their areas and they're doing it. The rich is doing it now. They could just do it faster because they have the money to get it built. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think it's important to try to realize, survive for what? We talk about survival. What are we surviving for? We're surviving to build communities, maintain communities.
Thrive. That's what we want to do.
Thrive. Yeah.
Right.
Once you survive, you want to thrive.
Yeah. Then you got to figure, when you have a community, there's going to be people trying to get into your community. You're going to need a place to go through a
vetting process or whatever. Or,
yeah.
You don't let everybody in just because they say that,
Yeah, proof. Proof of verification.
Right. And even if you do let them in and now they want to leave, you have to sit down and figure out, are we letting them leave? Because now they know where everything is, where your food supply is, where your weapons. So it might come down to some things that you may not want to do or do. So there's a lot to having a community like that. Yes, boy, absolutely. You're gonna need somebody that like a psychologist. People are gonna be going through it. Somebody that can sit down, wise counsel, or somebody that could just calm people down. You're gonna have people. I think Gershon and them said it. Where if you have somebody that's a hothead, most people don't want to deal with the hothead because they're unpredictable. But if you have other people out there that are hotheads, your hothead might be an asset. Because sometimes you may need that renegade that's going to be like, whatever, I'm with it.
Yeah. And a lot of people up here, I noticed when I went to the outdoor gun range, they have a camping site. And I seen a lot of people with dirt bikes, four-wheelers, quads. I mean, they were ready. Mm-hmm. I mean, RVs, campers, and they were set up. They were organized.
Definitely. Koi is right. You do need somebody that knows how to bury the dead. You don't want to bury a sick person who died or passed away from a sickness. You don't want to bury them where you're growing your food.
Mhm.
You know, you need to have somebody that's going to know how to do a lot of things.
And that's one of the things I ordered today as well. A few body bags, because you may have to, take people and transport people and bury them. And no, you don't bury them near your water source and bury them upstream. You have to know those things because
I mean, you might have to go back to the Viking days where you burn the body after it has expired.
that's it.
Yeah, see, it's crazy, right? It's a lot of things that you have to think about when you do get a prepping community, and you may want to save people, but if your supplies are not going to be able to maintain them, or the person's not, there's a difference between being a hothead and then somebody that's just out of control or maybe on some type of drug or whatever the case may be. Do you want to introduce that to your camp?
No.
You may not want to do that.
No.
So yeah, you're going to have to be selective about a lot of things. You may have to turn people away. And at the same time, a vetting process is very, very important.
First of all, we're going to establish a security group.
Right.
The security group is part of the cleanup crew. So
Right.
that way the community don't see that side of what we have to deal with.
Even with your security team, you should have cross training. Like everybody should be able to defend themselves somehow, some way. Again, you're a community, so every time somebody gets hurt or injured, that's one less person. Again, you need somebody to replace that person.
True.
Yes. So, hey, Miss Kay, how you doing? There's a lot to it, but it can be done if you have a good plan. You have to establish some rules and regulations, and it has to be followed by everyone in the camp, agreed upon and followed by everyone in the camp. It's not just about going there and I have all these guns or going there and I have all these food. If you don't have a system in place to make that community run, you're going to run into a lot of issues. Ego cannot be in there whatsoever. You have to be good at taking orders and following orders, because one day you might have to switch role, fill a gap someplace. So you got to be able to be flexible. That's the word. You need to be very flexible when you're in a community like that.
True, so true. And start off with communication, making sure we set boundaries and set perimeters on people that we really know we can move forward with, instead of saying, okay, I just met this person, that's cool. No, that's out the window.
Right.
Stuff hits the fan, your mentality sets down and saying, okay, this is for real. We have to be real.
You're going to have scouts. We're going to go scout out the place because you might need to re-up on certain things. Your security team is going to go with your scouts, because your scouts might be the younger, more faster individuals in your camp that can get in and get out, versus, some majority of the older people might not be able to move as agile as a younger individual, but they need security. They might be quick and fast, but they don't know how to defend themselves. So
Security, recon, medical.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. So.
And, you have people up front that they know what they look for: tripwires, booby trap.
Right.
You're not walking into an encampment of somebody else's territory. And who knows? We might be food for that group.
Right.
We just don't know, so we have to be prepared.
Exactly. Yep. It's a lot to it. But don't let that discourage you. I see so many people started. Miss K just said she's starting her workout bag. Kudos to you. I looked at Siege. Siege came in, didn't know anything, and she's already she's diving right into it. Koi's bag is amazing. He just sent me a picture of two of them, and I'm so proud of a lot of people just for taking initiative to make sure that they're okay and their families are okay. And it starts with something small. You're never going to be 100% prepared for anything, but the more you have, or at least if you start now, you probably just gave yourself another day. Somebody, another day.
Get through those 3 days, if you the more you build.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's people, we can buy land, but people have to be serious enough to want to put bunkers on the land, or you have to invest into your community, like a lot of other people are doing. They've been investing. They're putting their money to their survival. And we need to kind of get on that same page too.
Yeah, we'll have to revert back to smoke houses where you hang the meat up, the dry jerky, plants also, what you want them to use for to seeds. You just have to have everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you're gonna need people. So
Yeah.
you can say that you want to bug in, by yourself. And again, my whole plan was to bug in by myself, but I'm making moves so that I don't have to do that now. So at the end of the day, you really have to look at what's going on in the world and make moves if that's what you need to do in order to survive and be around people that you can, reach out to and be like, listen, you're good, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You just have to take it serious.
Yeah.
And again, be multi-talented. Don't just focus on one area. The more you know, the more valuable you are, the more likely you are to be able to survive. So do those things. So
yeah, definitely. I think Christian is going to do a survival. I don't know if it's called Wow Wednesday Bug Out. He hasn't named it just yet. Don't say Carbon said that. I'm just using that example because it was on the show that he put that to
Oh, that's great.
the table, and I hope everybody takes advantage of that, because if you can get out there and you're around people that can teach you how to do something and utilize the equipment that you have, then definitely take advantage of that. Make that a priority. It's not going to be anytime soon, but just start prepping your stuff. I think you guys are putting the itinerary and get it together for that.
Yeah, what we're going to do, what we're going to bring, when it's going to be, but that practical application, again, we can have the stuff. But if we've never tested it, we've never been out there, when we start interacting with each other, we're going to learn this from that person, learn this from another person. Everybody has different experiences. So to be able to get that and do that, that's going to be powerful. So yeah, that's like Carbon said, take advantage of that. If you can get out there, it's going to be in the Dallas area. So
yeah, I'll be in Atlanta. I'm going to be in Atlanta, Billy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. Matter of fact, I was thinking about just bringing one of my bags and a tent up to the meet out. That would be
everybody should bring a tent and know how to set up a tent, because sometimes you may need to set up a tent in your house if you don't have any heat.
Yeah.
You may need to set it up in your house versus it's not only just outside. Learn how to tie the knots, like you said, because if you have tarps, you might need to tie the
exactly. Know how to secure those in different ways, So it's very important.
He made a good point. He said you might need to reuse your rope. Absolutely, everything is going to be like gold at that point. You want to use it.
Rope is valuable.
Yeah.
So learn that. So
yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't get to see what you put up there. You're not in our lifetime markets. Right, very official. Absolutely. I can't even out. Don't worry, Siege. Me either. That's why I want to go and learn how to do. I know how to do a basic tent, but not like the ones if you go to the store, it comes with all these different contraptions, and then you have to tie a certain knot. That I don't know how to do.
And some of the tents now are so easy and so light and portable, and the technology's come a long way. So you want to have those skills still with the ropes and cordage and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good kit that's out there. So, but again, do your homework. Do your due diligence, because you don't want to spend money unnecessarily. Just spend it because it costs more doesn't mean it's better. So whatever your situation is for. The other thing too, locally stuff that we have around. I went out yesterday and started looking for some of these things, and I found a couple for the edible plants. I found 2 or 3 things just in my little, neighborhood around here. So I went out and I was looking for, these different plants, and they have ways on how to prepare them, how to test them, because you just don't want to start eating them. So you try a little bit, you do boil it, this, that, and the other. So you try a little bit, wait 30 minutes, and then, you try a little bit more. So, but these things again were the local grocery store. So get the information that's out there and just start testing it out. Start applying it practically. So every week I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a little bit of each one of these things. I try to find these plants and medicinals and try to see how they work, how much in my area do I have around, then expand on that knowledge. And there's people out there, like Carmen says, they already know what those plants are. They already know this, that, and the other. So being able to get information from them on, how to survive in a situation with what we have around us.
Yeah.
There's people that can look at can go into the forest and look at scat and tell you the animals. That's those are people that you want to get and learn whatever they teach you, because learn how to read the stars at night. Where's north, south, east, west, so you know where you're going.
That's true.
Yeah. One of the other things, I need to go out and buy something that I can use for this. I got the carbon, put up on there. So I got my canning book. So I need to figure out which canner or the steamer or canning thing I need to get. I know there have been a couple that are recommended. So that's my next purchase on this week. Been going through that, but that's a resource for stuff we have in our house and around that we can, set up and start stockpiling and using, in those emergency situations. So I think that's something we have to look at, being more self-sufficient, and plan for those things. So wanted to thank Carmen for that. And we all need to start thinking about those things. Yeah.
Your mic is off.
Sorry, there was noise. Zach is the one actually that's really knowledgeable about the canning stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't do canning, but I'm about to get into it because look at inflation right now. It's really
crazy. So can up stuff now that it's cheap.
Right.
Yeah. That same can of food down the line may cost you 2 or 3 times the price. You never know. So
but I learned from everybody inside here. I'm no expert, I just do a lot of research and I look things up. But there's so many people in this community that are very well educated on a lot of different subject matters. So, talk to them, get in there, learn. I don't think there's anybody in here that won't, sit down and have a conversation with you or point you in the right direction or where you need to go.
I think it's to the contrary. They're more than ready to share that information, and that's you can't put a value on that.
We can do that, QB.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, we can do that.
Yeah, I know Hookah. He's like really good with some of that stuff as well. So
Hookah's great. He knows.
We should have that. Have a little class or a little get together off the side, and
Yeah, because everybody's not going to be shooting at the same time. So
learn maybe
do that.
3 to 5 things that we could take back with us and start using.
Yeah, Billy, definitely. If you wear glasses, make sure you have a couple extra pairs, a glass repair kit, that Gorilla tape in case all else fails and you got to tape it all up together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have one.
I know I have. I broke my glasses in like 3 different spots in one shot. So at the end of the day,
glass tape
it out,
rags, everything.
I put it together one time with a lighter. So at the end of the day,
hey,
all right, it is what it
melted. Yeah,
melted back together. I needed to see at that point. So yeah, have an eye repair kit, eye wash. There's so many different things that you need to have. Just start with something. Look in your cabinet. If you have Crisco, Crisco is a great item to have.
Yeah,
look up on that. You can produce heat with crystal. Fire.
Yeah.
It's
Vaseline, a jar of Vaseline, that old fashioned Vaseline.
Yeah.
Dishwashing liquid, that's multi-purpose.
Yeah. You can get Dawn. Dawn you can use on your animals, you can use on your clothing, you can use on your dishes, you can even use it to wash yourself, your body. So if you can get a dishwashing liquid, if you had to choose one, because it's less expensive than some other stuff, Dawn is a great one. They use it on animals when oil slicks happen. Yeah, and it's non-harmful. So you can use it on your dog, you can use it pretty much on you, wash clothes, and it's small containers, so you can buy a lot of it and not take up too much space. Get that if you can.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Right now, I would advise everybody to go to Walmart in their camping session and just look at the items that you need and you can get, because it's cheaper now.
Yeah.
Make sure you do that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Get the canning stuff. I think Zach is going to do presentation on that. Because meat is going to go up, and if you want it, you might want to start buying them. Get a deep freezer, get a small fridge. If the power goes out and you have a generator will be more apt to run a small fridge than a big one. but you can kind of store your essentials in there, your medications, some type of, if you have babies, whatever the case may be, the milk. Just get a small freezer. I'm sorry, a small fridge, and keep it. Never know when you're gonna need it. Try to get generators. There's generators for all different prices. You don't have to get the $2,000 one. If you have it and you can get it, by all means, do your thing. If you're a single person, I don't think you need a generator that's $2,000.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right. Get something just so you can have the basics. You can charge your phone. You can, turn a lamp on or something to see. Get
Yeah.
something versus having nothing.
And then they also have those portable plates where you can sit down and put over the fire.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They hold out and have 4 legs and you put on the top where you put your pot or whatever on that also. Go check out Academy, Walmart, Ace Hardware. What's that?
Billy is a QB.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
Mm-hmm. He told QB to wash his balls with Dawn.
That's wild. All right. Yeah, they said it's a good question right here. Get a tent practice setting up backyard or garage.
Mhm.
I say backyard because you have to use those spikes. Make sure that your rope and your spikes are stationary.
Right.
So you learn the proper way to set them up too. A lot of people put the spikes facing towards the tent, and then as soon as you touch the tent, they're coming out, coming out of the ground. So practical experience teaches you a lot. Making a mistake isn't bad. You learn from those mistakes. So, but you only find out a lot of times when you get out there and do it. So all of our stuff, anything in your kit, you should try to just set a goal to use something in that kit and see how it works for you and get that practical application, because having it is nice, but using it something totally different, and that goes with anything you have in your home.
House of Seeds, that is a good one, but make sure you have the small cast iron pan because you got to look at the weight that you pack.
And then again, cook stuff in it. I cook rice. Some people have rice cookers. Can you make rice in one of those small pans? How does it work? How much heat do you use? This, that, and the other. Are you going to burn it up? Or are you going to make a? Get out there again. Practice cooking with your gear. Your rice and beans. Get a pot of rice and just cook it up for a meal. That's another thing too. If you have an MRE, how does it taste? If you have this other stuff you have to cook, take one out and cook it up. See what it's like. Is that good? Is that bad? What does it taste like? How long does it take me to get my water heated up? Boiling water in whatever environment you're in. Try some of those things out. It's actually kind of fun just to test out some different things.
They have those titanium little camping pots.
Yeah.
If you can learn how to cook, especially in the portions that those are in, it's great. Like, get your body acclimated to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're so used to eating. Food is a comfort, right? So, should hit the fan situations. You're gonna go through that whole withdrawal with candy.
Candy, cigarettes, all that stuff. That's the one thing. Anytime we have those things, one of the biggest things to do is do it in moderation. Because if you get into a shit hits the fan situation, all of a sudden you have to go cold turkey. That's going to be a problem. It's going to cause you some issues. So learn how to use it in moderation. So if you don't have access to it for, a week, 2 weeks, you just don't go, absolutely crazy. So moderate all those kind of things.
Oh yeah. And that goes back from just learning stuff from the basics. Just go online and be knowledgeable on the stuff and the items you're going to look up. Don't become dumbfounded, you know what I'm saying? And understand and be knowledgeable what you get. Don't go out and buy something because somebody else, you saw this on this video. It's up to you to feel comfortable with what you got to get and what you have to have.
Yeah. Because what works for one person may not work for you. It may not fit your situation, mindset, whatever. So, actively getting out there. And then that way you can be a help to somebody else, because you can say, in my experience, this is what, happened with me in my experience, So helps more than just you. 2 weeks lasting. There we go. You just have to know that we can do it. That's important, Siege.
Yeah, that's knowledge right there.
Yeah, fasting, it lets you know what your body can't do, and know that you can, do without, and discipline your body and mind in a situation, because survival, again, most of it's not outside of yourself. Most of it's up here, your knowledge and information and ability to adapt and get through situations. So that's huge.
All right, Ms. K, have a good one.
Ms. K, you take care. So
yeah, that's something, that we need to look into also. I picked up the last time when you told me I got this thing here.
There we go.
In case of emergency, you have to sign on what's wrong with the person in the back, the ailment. You can see it.
That's like your med triage information. So if somebody rolls up, you know what's going on, and you get them to a medical facility, they can, you can put what's been done, how long it's been, because that affects, quality of care, once they get to that, secondary health facility. So you need to be able to put that and prioritize that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's important.
There we go. What's good with you?
Hey, man.
Gun and a hookah. How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Hey,
How about y'all? Hey,
You still under the weather, or you
huh?
still under the weather, or you good? You good?
Hey, no, I'm under the weather, man. I just wanted to say what's up. I'm about to pop off here and get my ass home, and I'm going straight. Yeah, I don't feel good at all. So
where's your hat? Where's your hat?
Yeah, took it off somewhere.
That sounds like a mom. Why's your hat?
Yeah.
Put
that on you don't feel good.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
That's good. That's good.
To get me home anyway. My head feels. But yeah, I was listening for a little bit while I was at work. So yeah, some good stuff, man. Good stuff. So
Get
I
some
can't see on
mullein.
the chat. Everybody, what's up in the chat? Huh?
Okay. Get some mullein. That mullein will get that mucus off of your chest so you can breathe better.
What was it that you just called? What was it?
Mullein.
Mullein?
They have the drops. You can get it off of Amazon. I'll send you a picture of it. But it's really good. Yeah, and it'll help you with that cough.
All right.
Yeah, feel better.
Yeah. We need you, brother. Be well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Take care now.
Yeah, you can stay. Y'all have fun.
All right. Peace out.
Be good.
Later, man.
Not used to seeing him so quiet. He's just
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
You're under the weather. You're under the weather.
Yeah.
We got to take care of ourselves.
Definitely. Yeah.
We need everybody.
Yeah. Again, wherever you live, make sure you have clothing to keep you warm. Get those wool blankets from the Army Navy store. The surplus stores, you can use them for so many different things. The last thing you want to do is be cold.
Yeah.
I'd rather be hot than cold.
Thermals, wool socks.
Yeah. Just get some gloves. Get a scarf. Just have that in your bag. Just have a jacket, something that they have a lot of ski jackets that are really lightweight, but they actually keep you warm. Those runner jackets, the ones that keep the water off of you. Buy some stack, just put that in your bag. Sometimes they fold up really small, like a little square, or inside your bag.
That's so true.
Nothing like cold hands to make you shut down. Cold hands and feet.
Oh yeah.
Gloves. I think She Fires actually did a video on some gloves, but you want to have, depending on the area that you live, make sure you have some good gloves. Get some herbal teas. Have them in your house. There's like dandelion. Dandelion is, even though it's a weed, it's really good for a lot of things. Look it up. I'm not a doctor. Make sure you do your research on that before you get it.
That's in here, actually. The Dandelion Tea is actually in there.
Really?
I'm going to try that because there's some going right outside my house. I'm actually going to try that on tomorrow.
Right.
So if I don't show up after that, it didn't go well. but it tells you how to
Okay,
do it, how
House
to
of
necessarily how to do
Siege
that stuff. So that's
just
important.
said I just put shooting gloves on my list. Now I
Yeah.
want you to know about these shooting gloves. They are good for shooting. Now make sure you can load and reload a magazine.
Yeah. My
Put your
biggest thing
ammo
that I
in
use for shooting
first.
gloves, my dexterity test is, can I tie my shoes? If I can tie my
Yes.
shoes with them, then I know they're dexterous enough. And the ones that She Fire's got, look pretty good. The pig
Yeah.
ones also, they're very dexterous. So, but again, they may not be as good for warmth, but you want to make sure they're dexterous. And then also on a lot of shooting gloves, if you have electronic devices, all of them aren't conductive. So you want to test that out as well to make sure that they're conductive on your electronic devices as well.
Now my shooting gloves I can shoot with mechanics, but I prefer my 511s.
Yeah.
These are real thin, comfortable,
Yeah.
and adaptable.
Yeah. So go out there and test them out, try them on. Those are
I do have
good.
a question about. I know they have those. I think they're like a rubber strip.
Hmm.
So when you're shooting, that's not going to be a problem on your trigger. Like
No.
It
behind
may
your
be some. I
trigger.
don't usually like the rubber because
Right.
it can like stick. The pig gloves. Let me see if I have them here.
See, these gloves here, these 511s are specifically designed for that, where you can, I was about to grab a mag, but you can grab anything, pick up, tap, they have that, and they have that like that football, that neoprene, that stuff doesn't go nowhere. See how that is? Yeah.
These are the pig
That was
gloves.
the
I
question.
like these. The pig gloves. They
Right.
don't have like the rubberized, but they're very tactile. They're very flexible, so I can
Yeah.
move my hands and fingers. I can actually, do my martial arts, so I can get my sticks. I can handle
Oh
those,
yeah.
no issues. It's very good tactile feedback. But also with the phone, you want to test make sure that you can use electronic devices
Yeah.
and open those up with those, because some of them aren't conductive.
Yeah.
You can't do that as well. So you want to look at some of those features. The ones that She Fires has are like that. Spencer, those look like the ones you have may be conductive as well. But yeah, gloves are very important because you don't want any injuries. I know a lot, especially like say shoot certain firearms like the AK-47s, they like to cut you. They like to bang up your hands and stuff like that. So a good pair of gloves, and plus it keeps you warm as well. And also you can protect your hands if you get into any kind of situation. So gloves are very important. You don't want any kind of event, whether physical or thermal injuries to your hands, because then that takes you out of commission. So,
And I let everybody know also, mechanic gloves also.
Yeah.
Get you a nice pair of those. They will do the same thing. They're no different.
And those are cheap. You can go to the store and buy a lot of those, cheap in bulk. And especially if, like, say your house or you're the person everybody's going to come to your location. Maybe they don't come prepared. So sometimes we think about ourselves, but we also need to think about other people we may be interacting with. And buy, you see them, they're cheap. Buy a couple extra pairs. Just throw them in a bag or in a kit so people come up. Okay, you need gloves here. Boom, boom, boom. You're ready to go. So take advantage of those things and think about people outside of yourself.
Right. Definitely.
That's true.
Yeah. You're gonna need them when you gotta go look for wood for the fire.
Yeah.
When you're hunting.
Yeah, those blisters hurt. You're chopping wood, doing that
That's
stuff
so
when you're
true.
picking up
100%.
rocks or doing stuff and you're banging your hands up. Then now you got to go seek medical attention. Now you have to use up your medical supplies because you got a busted up hand or cuts and bruises. So it's multiplicative when you start not taking care of issues that can be prevented. So gloves.
These are the mechanics.
Yeah. See how they're reinforced and padded and
see the trigger finger.
Gotcha. But that one doesn't have that sticky thing. My fear was like that sticky thing.
Type, yeah.
Oh yeah, you have the rough. This is like your non-skid type. Your grip.
Okay.
That helps you.
And again, get multiple types. Try different ones. See what works for you. It doesn't hurt to have more than one. In fact, that's going to be a plus. So get out there. Test that stuff out. Get those different brands, and
Yeah, man. I think we've done another one.
Yeah.
Once again, Survival Saturday.
Just one more thing. Prepping, just get whatever you can get in case you do link up with a group of people. You have something to bring to the table.
Always.
Yes,
You know,
always.
be like, you may not have the skill that they're looking for, but if you have, items that they can use, they'll be like, come on.
Because they can always teach you. I can teach somebody,
Right.
basic medical in no time if they're willing to. It's not like rocket science. Somebody can teach you how to, the principles of, being alert and security and stuff like that. And over time, you get better at it. So be open to learning and learning from other people. It's always going to be a plus. And like Carpin says, start it, get a starting point, get an inventory, see what you have in your home and what you can use. Get things that are, multiple uses are always, a pro. That's always a plus. So, start somewhere, find out where you are, and just go from there. Because
And QB, my 511s, I have those in my range bag, and my get home bag, I have my mechanics. Just to let you know. So that way, if push comes to shove, I have my mechanic bag mainly most with me all the time. So
Yeah, 511s are good. They take a beating.
yeah,
they're definitely good cars.
Those are the boots I have are the 511 Survival.
So mine are 511s too.
Yeah, same here. I got those.
We didn't even talk to me already.
Yeah, we're on the same
light.
page.
Yeah, exactly.
Flexible, they don't constrict your feet, but they're very
That's
comfortable.
important. That's important.
I stepped off the curb wrong, and I just noticed my boot gave away and then bounced back. I said, "Oh, okay, all right." If I had on a Nike, oh man,
You've been over. You twisted your ankle or broke your,
There's grapefruit down there.
And they're pretty they're not too costly. Like they're not astronomically crazy with the price. You can find something in the 511 family.
There's a lot of good gear. I know they're not sponsoring us or anything, but there's good gear is good gear. So
congratulations on Calvin Q and a move.
Yeah.
You got everything set up. You all right?
No, it's so much stuff. Oh my god! I didn't realize
the whole house,
stuff that I have.
The whole warehouse full.
The whole warehouse. I thought it was like I really went through a moment. It's crazy.
You were really bugging out.
For real, I was already bugging out before I realized I was bugging out. It's so
Barbecue, aka Amazon.
Nickels this way and down, so it's like the whole shelf. Like what is it, 5 tiers?
Yeah, that's never.
And I still got stuff upstairs that I still have to box up. I just did the basics at the bottom, but yeah, it's
good.
I'll be okay though.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We all go through that some way, somehow.
It'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not worried about it. I just needed to adjust. There's so many things going on at one time.
Yeah.
So that's where it got a little hectic, but it'll work out.
Keep throwing those thoughts and prayers up there for you.
Thank you. It's actually a learning lesson in not losing it with so much going on.
Yeah.
That would be a good topic to bring in.
I was losing it though, like like everything was getting on my nerves. I had to take a moment today and just, bring it back down to one thing at a time, figure that out, move forward. Yeah. So yeah, Billy, you were right. It is a relearning.
Yeah. You got it. You got it.
All righty, once again.
Thank you guys.
Thank you everybody.
Everybody in the chat, QB.
BP, QB. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Thanks for coming through.
But no
Peace out. Y'all take care now. Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.